Welcome to the guide for KonoSuba, Love for These Clothes of Desire. This is a guide for the CG gallery and the scene gallery, because finding the information online to unlock every single one of these, I found to be quite difficult myself. I had to get information from several different sources in terms of like the ones I was missing, and they're not always clear. So I decided to say every single one of these in this video guide. Now, of course, this is going to include spoilers from this game. Ideally, you're probably only using this guide to grab the few remaining ones that you're missing. But let's jump into it. I'm going to go with the ones with the scene gallery, just to showcase. A lot of the CG gallery is going to be the same, but the scene gallery has the name of the thing to showcase what the issue is. As you'll notice here, each set of clothing has two different versions. Mainly what happens is the clothing just looks slightly different. It's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, you have to make versions with the special effect material and without for both of them. So ideally, I would say make 2 saves and do one, play through the whole thing, through the whole scene, and then do the one like without, whatever, for every single one of these. So as you can tell, these are all just outfit ones for the first page for Aqua. These are more of the specific, like, special ones. These are the DLC ones down here, the deluxe. But some of these will say what they are. For example, the cemetery cleanup one is a part-time job for the graveyard shift, which I will showcase momentarily. Same thing with the fake flower selling. So you do the flower selling one that shows up. The thing is with these type of part-time jobs, and sometimes with the quests as well, you have to do multiple quests and multiple part-time jobs for them to show up. It's not consistent. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't. You can tell her lap pillow, same thing with the pressured part-time job and the normal end. Those are all part of these two are part of the ending. And then whether or not you get the normal end or the good end depends on how much affinity you have. To do those pretty successfully, you could just do as you normally do, make all the outfits. Before you make the last outfit, you could instead save the game and don't make it for the normal end and make it for the good end. So that would be an easy way to do that. With the feast thing, that's just if you're doing all their affinity things during your days off, like after you do the quests and the part-time jobs in between things. Every character is going to have one of those. So when it comes to Megumin, same sort of deal. With the having the special effect material and not having the special effect material. And similar sort of thing here. These are 2 things that are for the ending, and this is normal and good end. Her part-time jobs include tutoring, and there's a quest for the Undead Knight quest. And this is her special, affinity thing, is fixing her weapon, as well as like the DLC shit. This is where it becomes an issue, though, this particular one, blacksmithing, because, and I will show this later on, and I'll put a timestamp for it, but you have to do another part-time quest before this. So, I might as well just show it real quick, actually. I'll just load any sort of thing here, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so showcasing the different types of ones you can do. When it comes to some of these, you get a scene for doing, say, there's here tutoring right here. I'll showcase how that is, but depending on what outfits you unlock, give you the different type of part-time jobs. The graveyard duty one for Aqua, the fake flower selling for Aqua, the blacksmithing for Megumin, but again, you have to do sword polishing first. That's the one you have to do first. And then you get a scene from that. It doesn't show up in the scene gallery, but you do a scene for that. And then you can do blacksmithing, however many times it forces you to do it. It's RNG depending. And then a scene will pop up for Megumin. Okay. Here's to showcase what making certain outfits would do. If you hit triangle to display request, or display recipe rather, it'll show you the rewards, and the rewards will showcase whether or not it unlocks a certain type of part-time job or not. For example, for the tutoring one, you have to make the cheerleading outfit for Megumin. You don't need to use the special effect material. So as soon as you get it, you could just do it. But that would unlock tutoring. Just as an example of one of the ones you actually do need to have done. And for graveyard duty, you'd have to make this one for Wiz, you'd have to make the bath towel. So those are 2 that you need to do if you're trying to unlock every little thing. They don't have to be the same playthrough, granted, but you do have to do all of them. But yeah, this is just showcasing some of the different ones you can do. So yeah, That one's particularly weird with Megumin because it just, you have to do one that it doesn't mention first to get that, so a little odd. Now when it comes to darkness, same thing, you know, make outfits with or without special material. These two, well, actually the Armor of Anger is going to be during the main quest line, but these two are specific to the endings, and normal ending gets only this one specifically, whereas good ending gets this. Here's the guild paperwork one and the town cleanup, if you're wondering what those are. I can showcase that. Guild filing here is what Darkness needs, particularly. For her guild paperwork one. And then for the cleaning up around town, you would just do town cleaning, of course. So both of these are required. As you can tell, this one says Cute Maiden Creation to get the guild filing. But yeah, Cute Maidens, you would have to make the Yunyun maid outfit to get the guild filing one. So with the rest of the Darkness ones specifically, there's a Giant Toad quest one, so just do the quest whatever amount of times. For special training is going to be whether or not you do all her affinity quests, and this is all just DLC stuff. So now we get to the other ones, like so the rest of these characters are not going to have good endings, like normal/good endings, they're just going to have their own special endings. So moving on to the first of the other characters, we have Wiz, of course. Same sort of thing, just standard, with special material, without special material. I try to linger a bit on these shots so you guys get an idea of which ones you're missing or not. With the clothing, it's pretty easy because they're just right next to each other, but some of the other ones are a little bit off in terms of where the placement is. Like the Graveyard Meetup one, for example, is the affinity thing that I've mentioned before. To me, I find that kind of odd that it's all the way to the right, whereas the ending comes before that. Her in a uniform is also part of the ending, by the way. But yeah, you'll notice that with the Darkness ones as well. Like the part-time jobs are after the endings and before the DLC. I don't know, it just seems like odd placement. Chris, mostly same sort of deal, except the difference is her ending has two of these scenes, as well as the affinity scene there at the last day off. Yunyun's gonna have the clothing as well. She has one scene for the ending and then the final ending one, as well as the affinity one. Sena, same sort of deal. Clothing with and without the material. Her ending scene, and then the final ending scene, and then her affinity quest line. So these three are part of the main quest in terms of like the main story. Like you're not gonna be able to miss them. When we get to same thing with these down here actually, the chapter 2, 3, and 4 endings. All clear as if you end up getting every single ending in the game, and then obviously the opening movie and the closing movie are all just like things you're gonna get no matter what as long as you beat the game. One either side is a bit of an odd one, and it was one I was missing until I got some help. I will splice in the help, like the channel that helped me out, and I'll link them in the description. But there was a channel that had posted on the Megumin thing that I got help from, and the channel name is called DeathSure9210, all one word, DeathSure. Talking with that person, it helped me realize that the one either side thing was part of the days off sort of deal, and so I had never seen it before. But the reason I found out that I had never seen it before, I figured out Blue's Clues on this, is that you can only get this option to show up if you have Sena's, just if you did all her affinity quest stuff, right? So here's an example of this. I actually made this specifically for this example. So it does not show Sena's here, but this is the guild bar. And if we go there, see, even though her affinity is the lowest, because I did all her affinity events, I just chose the wrong option. But because I did all her affinity events, she's actually here, and I'll skip by it, but yeah, you get that scene, right? And that was specifically, as I showed, Chapter 4, 17 days left. Whereas if I take another save like this, where I have not done any of her affinity events, or at least I didn't do all of them, there's no option for the guild at all. There's just Cosmo's room. And so if you notice there's a situation like this, because they normally have, if I'm not mistaken, at least one of these at the very end of every single chapter, where it's just Cosmo's room. But if you're in like the middle of the deadline and there's still just only Cosmo's room, it's because you're missing some sort of affinity quest sort of thing, because you haven't done like all the versions of it. Now when it comes to the board games for all scene gallery thing, I'll showcase exactly where that shows up. That's just a scene that pops up during Chapter 4, for the 52nd day specifically, what you would do is, instead of choosing Cosmo's Room, which honestly you should almost never choose Cosmo's Room, except for like the one time there's a Megumin affinity event in there, but you choose the living room option, and then, you know, funny Monopoly time. So going back to the scene gallery, I mean, same sort of thing for most of these. There is a little bit of a difference though. This one here, which is the very last one for Aqua, is very strange for the fact that you get this in the Chris ending. So you have to do the Chris ending to get this picture of Aqua. Very strange, but whatever. The Megumin one is mostly the same shit. This one is a bit different though. And there's another situation where this pops up, and I will mention that momentarily. But when it comes to this, for example, you'll see that there's 4 different pictures, right? But here's one that you would miss, this angry one. You're going to miss this one if you actually choose the correct option here, because she won't be angry. She's asking for your help. So if you help her, you'll get like the normal option, which is fine. You know, obviously you want to help her for like affinity stuff if you're trying to max everyone's endings. But if you do that, then you miss out. You'll have 3 out of 4 on there, which is very odd. So you'd have to, I guess, make a save file and then like choose the 2 different options, or at the very least, like choose, like make a save file, go through the whole thing, and then reload the save file again, and then go through it the other way. But going through with darkness, similar type of deal. You know, you'll get these as you just get these. Most of these are the same, so you know there's no point in really focusing too much on them. I think there might be something different with this Chris one, but I'm not entirely sure. Same sort of thing. You know, you're just going through yada yada. One you will miss though is this one in particular. This would have 7 out of 8. But you'll get another one depending on the option, right? She'll be upset. There's 2 different upset ones, and so it'll look different depending on what your options are. So in that sort of sense, you have to do what I just said with Megumin, where you have to have a save and just go through the scene and then reload the save and choose another option. Otherwise, these are all going to be, as far as I know, the same. But if there is ever a case that you're missing a particular picture in a set, but you already have the set, yeah, but it's just like missing one picture, then that's all you have to do is just reload and choose a different option. So hopefully that's been helpful in getting every single scene gallery and CG gallery unlocked, in case you were missing a couple. Most of them, again, are, you know, pretty straightforward. Just do 2 different versions of the outfits, do their affinity stuff, and do the, you know, good and normal ends for certain characters. But there are enough of them that are kind of oddly placed that I felt that this guide would hopefully be useful. Be sure to hit that like button, yada yada, if you want to see more stuff like that. I think I'm going to do another tips video for this game, so, you know, look out for that on the horizon. And catch y'all later, bye.